Hi guys, it's me, Chris Sandeman, back again for a short special bonus session live stream. Now, I've been doing some research on Prince's Street Garden, which is where I am right now, just this place that used to be where the Nor Loch was, very green, very fertile, because of course so much fertilizer from generations of people who lived up on that hill, you know. All that fertilizer kind of came down into the Nor Loch, this area that used to be a kind of a watery, boggy place where you get your fresh drinking water, but you'd also kind of process your other stuff, and it'd end up down here. And we're going to do a live stream from Prince's Street Garden tomorrow. I'm going to give you a proper tour of this place. Tage, brother. Yes, I am live. I am. We were just chatting. It's good to see you, my friend. It's good to see you, Canada. Hail. Hey, as if one needed to know how to drink whiskey. In fact, Michaela just said hello as well, and Michaela could do this live stream as well. But for those of you who don't know yet how to properly drink whiskey, I wanted to take 10 minutes right now from inside the Prince's Street Gardens, where I've been researching for our live stream tomorrow with the Edinburgh Castle in the background up there, and be able to, quickly just say hi. A huge heartfelt congratulations to Ross and Nikki, who cemented their already impregnable fortress of love in front of their friends and family. And I was so honored to be there and be able to be part of it. So really, absolutely wonderful. And I'm getting to enjoy lunch with the bride and groom tomorrow from the grass market on the other side of this basalt plug, this hill here, upon which sits the old fortress of Dunedin. Well, not Dunedin anymore, but it did once have the fortress of Dunedin. Today, it's Edinburgh Castle. So, and here we are. Wow. So I've learned a lot about whiskey, and I promised you guys some whiskey distillery tours. And it turned out that when I visited the distilleries, they weren't huge fans of me filming inside of them. Didn't want me to live stream at all, but they did allow me to take mash-up short videos. There are places that they wanted to keep secret, special, and not allow footage to exist for, especially in some of the rooms where the spirits really flow into the spirits locker. But I've taken video from several distilleries, and as soon as I am back in North America, which will be Tuesday night, I'll be working on a longer mashup video, and then we'll do a premiere live stream, not from the place, while I'm there, but we'll be together while that video plays, and we'll be able to talk and still hang out in the chat and all the rest of it. So hail, Kaela, Tage, great to have you guys all along right now. And then if you're not watching this as a live stream right now, don't worry about it. You can watch it as a video on demand, playback whenever you want to. It's here. It's still going to be worth knowing how to properly drink Scotch whiskey. And by the way, in case you don't know, that's whiskey without an E. W-H-I-S-K-Y. It's only Americans and Irish that put an E in their whiskey. And if you've got Scotch whiskey, you just don't need to add the extra E. It's great all on its own. So what I'm going to do right now is probably kind of forbidden, because you're not really supposed to drink in public in the UK, even if you're sat down at a table where they would usually serve beers from the cafe, which is closed over there. But we're going to do it anyway, because that's what we're going to do really quick. So first off, I've got a glass. Right? It's a Dalwhinnie glass, and you want to make sure that your glass is going to be able to capture both the smell, right, the nose of the spirit, as well as allow you to look through the glass to be able to see both the color of the spirit as well as the legs that form on the glass. I also have here a safety little bottle of Dalmore 12, and Dalmore close to Inverness, about 35 minutes north of Inverness. Hey Shannon, good to see ya. Dalmore close to Inverness, well, they're really conscientious about drink driving. So when my brother and I went into the tasting there, They gave me all the different whiskeys that we were tasting to nose, right, in a glass, not a Dalwhinnie glass, a Dalmore glass, and then they poured them all into these little tiny bottles like this for me, so I could take them, enjoy them again later on, safely, like right now when I'm walking in the park. So let's open up a small little bit of whiskey and pour it into the glass. Whoa, that was a little bit more than just a little, to be honest with you guys. But here's the good news. Hey, Mom, Michelle Sandeman, welcome. Thanks for joining me for a quick whiskey. One of the cool things about a dram, if you ask anyone, the official measurement, the official amount of whiskey that goes into a whiskey glass to be considered a dram is exactly the amount that the pourer of the bottle pours into the glass. It could be big, it could be little, it's a dram. That's the official measurement. It's sort of like, you know, at your own prerogative. So now I fill this glass up slightly more than I would recommend because it is going to make it a little bit harder for me to be able to swirl the whiskey inside of the glass. And you can see what I'm doing here. For myself, I like to warm up the spirit a little bit so its properties really can kind of come out. If you add ice to whiskey, you are doing two things, in my opinion, personally wrong. First, you're adding water because when the whiskey ice melts, it becomes water and it dilutes the whiskey. And this whiskey has become what it's supposed to be based upon what the master distiller and the master blenders have decided it should be. So respect that. These guys are the professionals. How do we ever know more than what they know? On the other hand, drinking, food, art, it's really in the eye of the beholder. So if you like ice in your whiskey, and that's how you want it, that's how you should have it. Because no one can tell you how to be the star of your own movie. You're the star of your own movie. We're all just here as extras, watching you, supporting you. We're your supporting cast, so do whatever you want to do. But if you were the master distiller and master blender, they would ask you to enjoy their product the way that they intended it to be enjoyed. Tage asks, do you have a favorite type of whiskey? Besides Scotch whiskey, single malt, right? But as a brand, I would say Glenfarclas. It's still an independent owned operator. And I think the Glenfarclas 15 is likely my favorite whiskey. Can't get it in North America, I believe. It's slightly too alcoholic to be affordable to export because of the extra taxes associated with it, right? Well, and Hale says, add water, you can drink more. That's true, Hale, absolutely. What I'd always recommend is first enjoying the whiskey at least for a sip without adding anything to it. Just understand the base property of it. Now I'm spinning it around in the glass here, okay, being careful not to get any in my hand, but at the same time I'm warming up the glass. And this is gonna let me now look at the legs. You can see how there's like whiskey going down the side of the glass. It's gonna let me see the viscosity of the whiskey, right? I know, you know, right away how thick it is on the sorry, someone just tried to give me a call there. I'm just gonna quickly turn off I did not put on my do not disturb, and just bear with me just half a second. Hey, I'm on a live stream. Can I call you right back? No problem. No worries, bye. There you go. Okay, so back to the whiskey. First thing that we were doing is we were looking at the viscosity. We just wanted to understand the legs, right? What's the property, the oil or sugar content anymore. With wine, you'd be looking at legs, that. We're gonna see how thick it is. But also, right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the color of it. We're gonna hold it up so there's some light behind it. Now, it's hard for, you guys are gonna be able to see the color of it much more easily because it's on the camera for you, right? And you can kind of see how that color is coming through. Is it a light whiskey? Is it a darker whiskey? All whiskeys start as a clear spirit. Like think not Old Tom gin, just regular old gin. White, clear, right? There's very little color in that clear spirit that it starts when it goes into the cask to begin getting aged. And it's the cask itself, whether that might be a bourbon cask from Kentucky, plentiful in supply because bourbon can only be aged once in a cask, and then they throw out the bourbon cask. And Scotland is waiting to buy those old American white oak bourbon casks and then fill them with their spirit to suck from the wood a lot of the properties that the bourbon has left behind. Or maybe it's a sherry cask, which is going to also add its specific properties, sweetness and notes of vanilla perhaps from a not American oak cask, but from a European white oak cask. Or maybe it's a port cask. All of these are used in plethora. Nowadays, they're also using old wine casks, Sauterne or Tokai, all sorts of different wine casks to then ultimately add this color and a lot of the flavor and other different properties that go into it. So the second thing I was going to say here is, guys, don't be in a rush, right? Enjoy your whiskey. Take your time with it. It's been waiting for probably, this one, 12 years. This whiskey has been waiting for 12 years for us to enjoy it together right now. The whiskey's not in a rush. Why should you be? Take your time. Nose the whiskey. If you're getting too much of the alcohol right off the bat into your nose, pull your nose away and waft the whiskey smell towards you. If you're not getting enough of the nose to be able to smell the properties, put your nose closer to it. And then just think about what you smell. Is it citrus? Is it orange? Is it chocolate? Is it coffee? Is it vanilla? What's coming out? Think about that for a second. Hi, Anna Maria. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. And now we're going to prepare our palate to really taste the whiskey. So I'm going to take some of it into my mouth, and I'm going to swirl it around. I'm going to cover my teeth, my gums, my tongue. I'm going to really let the whiskey pass around inside of my mouth, so that way, the flavor in my mouth starts with that whiskey flavor. But also, by doing that, I'm going to mix the whiskey a little bit with my own saliva. And by doing that, when the whiskey hits my belly, when it goes down into my stomach, it won't be so harsh, right? It's not going to give me what's called fire belly from drinking just a shot of whiskey. And why would you dishonor the whiskey by drinking it fast? It's been waiting for over a decade for you. Take your time with that. So much caramel, so many caramel notes on this. Oh, it's delicious. I'm breathing in the air. To let that air mix with that evaporating whiskey. It's all evaporating inside of my mouth, right? I am breathing in the angel share, so to say, of the whiskey as it exposes itself to my mouth, and it's delicious, right? And I'm not in a rush. There's no speed to this. But now my mouth, my palate is ready to taste deeper notes inside of the whiskey. It's at this point that you might add some water, maybe a drop or two. In Scotland, they call these drops of water the angel's tears. Because why would you add water to this beautiful single malt scotch? Well, if you do, the angels might cry about it. So the longer you can hold the whiskey on your tongue and under your tongue, in your mouth, the more of that exposure is going to come out. But at the same time, it's also going to be starting potentially to get a little hot with the alcohol in your mouth. So, you've got to balance it out for yourself. Again, you are the star of your own film. I'm the star of my film right now, right? But with your film, I'm your extra. I'm your supporting cast. So take your time. Oh, Shannon, you're right. Different parts of your tongue have different types of taste buds and taste different things. Salt and sweet, savory and sweet, different parts of your mouth. I'm even getting a little leather in this now as my mouth opens up. A touch of gunpowder even. It's not a peaty or smoky whiskey like you might get from some of the Western Isles. Getting more of that caramel. The vanilla notes are really present now as well in this 12. Delicious, guys. Absolutely delicious. Well, I've been talking about how you should take your time, and I've just realized that I'm meeting with an old colleague of mine from my old boarding school, Phillips Exeter Academy. And I've just seen him texting to say, Chris, I'm waiting at the pub. I've left my wife and child home. See you soon, right? In which case, it's the only time that I would ever rush a dram. It's because I'm actually late. And the great news is that there are more drams to be had as well. So this last sip then. And tomorrow, I hope that I'll see you at Princess Street Garden, right here, for us to do a walk around. I'll be starting at noon UK time. That'll be 1 p.m. European time. Unfortunately for North America, I'm really sorry about that. That does mean a relatively early start, 7 a.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, 7 a.m. Don't expect you to be there at 7 a.m., guys. You'll be able to watch it later on. Yes, Hale, it will be interesting, and this is interesting. And Shannon, yes, there is a pattern of me running late. It's not great, but I'm trying to get too much done. That's it. I'm trying to get too much done. Michaela likes Canadian whiskey with a lot of American tears, and that's great. You know, that's what your flavor profile wants. That's what your taste buds are craving. That's what you enjoy. And the great thing is that there's so many different whiskeys out there to explore and discover, produced in different types of stills, using different aging processes or timelines. But all Scotch whiskey must be aged for at least 3 years and 1 day. If not, it's just not Scotch, right? That's part of the rules of Scotch, the demarcation principle of it, right? It needs to come from Scotland, it needs to be aged in Scotland, it needs to have the 3 basic properties inside of that, which are going to be malted barley, yeast, and water, right? I mean, Shannon, Irish whiskey. The old Bushmills distillery in Ireland is the oldest distillery of whiskey in the world. So the Irish knew something, right? They're doing a good job there as well. Can't argue with that. Almost got seagulled. I wanted my whiskey. Mine. Movie reference. Delicious. Okay, well, we've gone for 20 minutes. Tage says, Scotland is so relaxed, I love it. Not really, actually. Drinking in public, like I've just done right there, and then documenting it on a video might not be the smartest thing. And that's why I'll tell you right now, that wasn't really whiskey. It was actually just colored water. Maybe. We're just gonna have to leave that a mystery right now because I would hate to have that documented as evidence against me. Excellent call, Shannon. It was a Finding Nemo seagull reference. Mine. Lots of seagulls who fly in because we're so close to the Firth of Forth here. So exactly, Hale. It was tea it was tea in a little whiskey bottle. Michaela and Hale, boom, you guys came together on that thought at the exact same time. Amazing. All right, well, until tomorrow, unless that is, there's a lot going on down on the Cowgate tonight, in which case I might do a "Are you vaxxed or are you not vaxxed" video this evening using Scottish and British and English and Scottish together, British people, for us to be able to see how they compare with our Charleston, South Carolina King Street tour. Maybe there are lots of unvaxxed people, maybe there are lots of vaxxed people. Let's find out what they think about it. If we have enough people on the street, we are going to do that this evening. If not, I'll see you tomorrow at noon local time or on video on demand and playback. Do me a favor, hit me with a thumbs up on this video right now if you're watching on YouTube. Go ahead and love it, share it, do all that jazz. That helps a ton. Here are a couple of pictures of things that we will see tomorrow while we are at Princess Street Garden, just to give you a feeling of some of the cool photos that I took on my exploration around Princess Street Garden just a little bit ago, just to give you a sense of some of the views and the beauty of this space. It's still me back here behind all the little photos. So I took these photos. These are all not copyright infringement. These are my photos. I made them, and so you get a little see. And these are taken within the hour. So all tomorrow or whenever you have a chance to catch it. All right, enough of this. Goodbye, you. Ross Fountain, go away. A rose is a rose by any other name. Goodbye. And Shannon asks, are Nikki and Ross going to be there? They're not going to be in Princess Street Garden with me, but they might allow us to do a bit of a live stream together from where we're having lunch. So it's the other side, from the Grass Market side is where we're going to meet up, and then we can also have the castle in the background. We've got to let them decide whether or not it works for them or not. Tage writes, travel is coming back slowly and surely, but well, look, hope for the best. Knock on wood, folks. Knocking on wood is the most common world superstition. It's the number one. More people believe in knocking on wood for luck than any other superstition worldwide. It's true. But Tage, I'm also optimistic, but hoping for the best, planning for the worst. Right, I've got to run, so mwah. My lovelies, take care, be safe, right? Treat yourself well, take care of those you love, and let yourself be cared for by those who love you back, okay? All right, talk to you soon. For now, ciao from Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. I'm Chris Sandeman, signing out. Bye-bye.